right? And call Lutheran Corps, call LCMC. We're together in this. You're not alone.
No, really, they're the rebels. This is what Jesus says. Hi, I'm Jesus. I love you, and I've got a really difficult plan for your life. That's what Jaynan said earlier. And you know what? You don't get over it. Yeah, if you do what's right, sometimes you're going to have to face some adversity. But just be, I just tell congregations and tell people today that, this is what we need. The church needs to be strong and courageous. Just be strong and courageous, and get over the fact that folks are going to call you bad names if you stand for your convictions, and if you stand for, the truth of God's word, and if that means starting a mission congregation, and if you have to put up with some, some persecution along the way, God will be faithful. God will be faithful. I have witnessed the faithfulness of God. 10% of the congregations of LCMC are mission congregations, and many of them have been in that situation. I've celebrated with 3 of them this year who have built their first building, who have called their first full-time pastor, who are self-supporting, who are supporting other mission congregations. We don't have a division for mission in LCMC. And yet 10% of our congregations are mission congregations, and many of them are well on their way to being self-supporting. And almost every one of them had to put up with some, bad-mouthing in their communities from others around them but that's all right. You don't ever get strong unless you resist something. I went to the gym. I really did. Once. I did. And I even had a personal trainer for a while. I did. It wasn't that long ago either. And I realized that, the only way that you hope to ever get any biceps or anything like that is that there's this weight that you're pushing up against that's pushing down on you the entire time that you're pushing up on it. And that's the way it is. Jesus said, if you stand for the truth, you're going to have some stuff pushing down on you. But here's the good thing. As you push up on it, you actually get stronger. You actually build some muscles. They were very small. And they lasted just a brief moment. But while they were there, it was glorious.
I completely disagree with the ELCA's new bound conscience thing. But if there were any validity to it, and if there were any integrity to it, especially in respecting bound consciences in both directions, then those 5 pastors would have reached out and said, how can we help you as individuals? And if it means helping you start a mission congregation, we'll gladly do it. It just proves that in the end, bound conscience is not only invalid, but it's going to be used, unfortunately, in exactly the opposite way that they said they were going to use it.
Another question right here.
Yes, I do. Bound conscience to me is a way of shutting people up. That's the way I look at it. But I want to, in our congregation, when I first started investing this issue, and our pastor was against us pretty much, I found there's an awful lot of people within the congregation, I imagine maybe for other congregations, that really don't know much about the Bible, maybe haven't even opened it in their lifetime. So they're of the opinion, because we have a pastor that stands in front of us and tells us this, that, and the other, that it must be true because they're gone through seminary and they know about it. And it's very difficult to work against that mentality to change things around. Do you have any suggestions of how to work towards that?
The question is, in many of these congregations, they have a lot of people who are very trusting. They have, we'll say, pastors who are in favor of these changes, and many of the people within the congregation are not educated, and they don't want to be educated because they trust that pastor. They say he's been through seminary and he must know better. And the question is, what do we do about that? Is that good?
Pretty much, yes.
Here's where we need to accept responsibility, all of us in this room, and Missouri Synod and Wisconsin Synod, because one of the main reasons why all Lutheran churches, with the exception of LCMC and the Association of Free Lutheran Churches, are all in decline and have been since the 1960s is precisely because we've been sloppy, we've been shallow, we have not engaged everybody in our congregations in Bible study. We just need to do that. And then I'll let Jaynan make her pitch for solo publishing.
See, I think when I was supposed to come up here and be a salesperson for everything that WordAlone can offer, I just think that's so, I'm not a manufacturing rep for WordAlone, but solo publishing is our educational department. I mean, in a year and a half, we're going on 2 years, we have a full curriculum. Go there, start there. We not only give you the book, we give you the guide if you want the guide, but we have such things as how do Lutherans think? A 5-part series on the Augsburg Confession. What is going on there? And then now, and a whole pamphlet series. These are free. You can just download those. What does this mean? Right? I mean, they're all there too. And we are writing to this situation. We're putting together 5 to 7 part studies. You don't need a pastor to sit down and teach this study. You get a coffee clutch together. Jesus was very concerned about numbers. Don't let anybody tell you that Jesus was not concerned about numbers. He was very concerned. He said, remember, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst of that. I love to bring that up with all these megachurch pastors. But, there's church growth for you, okay? So we are, Solo Publishing has the materials on all these things. You go on Solo Publishing or you go to WordAlone and you go to Solo Publishing and you can look through there. And we're not making a profit on this stuff. We're producing it and selling it as cheaply as we can to get the word out. That's why we did Solo Publishing. Start there. Put the pamphlet ministry out, buy What Authority, walk through the book if you want, but if you want to start simple, start buying those study guides. You don't need a pastor to lead it. Get your coffee clutch together, and you will be surprised how much you will learn in 5 to 7 sessions. All right.
There were those trifolds on the door, at the desk table by the door as you walked in. The Solo Publishing, what does this mean? Trifolds. If they're gone, there's a checkbox on the sign-in sheet says, please email me those, because they're available in PDF form. You can download them from the website. I'll be happy to email it to whoever checkbox is that, and I'll send out an email to everybody, maybe with all those attached. Another question. Actually, I promised this one over here.
I'm wondering where Lutheran Churches of the Common Confession fit into your.
The question was, where does Lutheran Churches of the Common Confession, more popularly known as LC3, fit in? LC3 was formed and organized at the very same time out of the same theological conference that Lutheran Core was. And for probably about 3 years, they had their own separate steering committee. And as time went on, their leadership said it really doesn't make any sense for us to exist as kind of a separate organization, because we're really a part of Lutheran Core. You join Lutheran Core, LC3, by affirming the Common Confession, the 7 articles in that. And so they recommended and it was an association of congregations, unlike Lutheran Core, which was individuals, congregations, and groups. So they recommended to the LC3 congregations that they just fold into Lutheran Core and become Lutheran Core congregations. So that's what they're known now as, Lutheran Core congregations, and there's a growing list of those congregations on the website.